One of the things you're going to have to deal with riding in bike parks is braking bumps. What are braking bumps? Well, it's this washboard sort of surface that you see on the approach to fast turns. And the reason braking bumps are there is simply because people are grabbing a handful of brake before hitting that turn and the bike is skipping around on the rough terrain. Successively, with more and more riders, they turn into real rough washboards and they can be really painful on your hands. So here are our best tips to handle brake bumps. This is a fairly typical turn that you can expect to see braking bumps before. It's got a really fast approach and people spot the left-hand turn and start grabbing a handful of brakes, and that's when the bike skips around on the surface. Just like that. So there's two things you can do about this. The first is to control your speed long before you get to this, and as you come around the turn you don't have to brake. There is enough support in the turn for that. That's a lot easier on your hands if you're not braking and turning at the same time. The second option, as you can do quite easily on this turn, is take a nice inside line. It's nice and smooth, there's still plenty of turn to support your riding. So I'm just going to show you the two different options you've got here. The first time, I'm going to come in, control my speed before the turn and stay high on the line, just roll through those braking bumps. And the second option, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to cut the inside of the turn and skip them out altogether. As well as learning your braking points and the right line to ride braking bumps, setting your bike up well to deal with them is actually really important. Now, whether you're riding a downhill bike, trail bike, and enduro bike, the principles are all the same. So first up is your brake lever position. So a lot of people run their brakes quite far down, but if you're running in a bike park that's gravity focused, like Whistler for example, you want your brakes actually to be a little bit higher up, because the more you're reaching for the brakes, the more pressure you're actually putting on your thumb and onto your hands to grip the handlebars. You want your hands to be a nice loose grip on the handlebars, which might be counterintuitive, but a death grip isn't going to make things easier because your forearms are going to tense up and your hands are going to be gripping too much. You want a nice relaxed grip on the handlebars and a brake lever that's within easy reach when you're in your downhill aggressive riding position. Moving your brake levers in as far as you can, so your fingers are right on the end of the brake levers, is best because it's a real powerful position for your hand to be in. It might feel a little unnatural at first, but again, it's all about emphasising the point that you don't want to be holding on and braking as hard as you can. You want it to be a relaxed, natural position when you're on the bars. A lot of people tend to run the tyres quite firm in bike parks to avoid getting punctures, but you just think how much shock that can transmit through to your hands. So it's well worth lowering the pressure of your front tyre. Even a few PSI can really make a big difference. Also consider your front suspension setup. If you're running your bike a bit firmer for jumping and having fun like that, it's actually going to transmit more shock through to your hands. So consider running it a little bit softer, up to 30% sag, and perhaps a few clicks less on rebound, just to give it a nice pattery feel. Hopefully this video on how to handle braking bumps has been helpful for you. Click here in the middle to subscribe. There's a brand new video every single day. And for 5 trial skills every mountain biker should learn, click down here. And if you want to see the epic ride from Whistler Bike Park, click over here. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up.